Have you ever felt constantly exhausted, unmotivated, and just can't figure out why? It might not be stress. It could be your daily habits secretly destroying your mental health. These seemingly normal things are actually rewiring your brain for stress and burnout. The 5 habits that we'll be discussing today are not the end all be all, but if you can kick them out of your life, I promise you will have a happier and healthier mind. So we're going to break down these habits together and most importantly discuss on what we can do next. And hi, if you're new here, my name is Isabel and I have a self-help series here on this channel where we discuss all things about mental health and about beauty, about glow-ups. And I'm so happy that you're here and let's get on with the video. Negative self-talk. So how many times have you looked into the mirror and started picking yourself apart and you say things like, I'm not pretty enough, I don't have enough hair, my hair's too thin, too flat, I'm not tall enough, I'm not short enough. Or when we interact with people either online or in person and we begin to compare ourselves to them. The way they walk, talk, their achievements, what they do in their school, in their job, and sometimes even their partners. And after all that, our mind is filled with the destructive words, I'm not good enough. We think about 60,000 thoughts a day and almost 80% of them are negative. Meaning that for every 10 thoughts that we think, 8 of those thoughts are not good thoughts. And I hope that you're as shocked as I am when you're hearing this. Like when I heard it, I just thought, wow, something really sad and wrong is happening here. Our brains have something called neuroplasticity, which means that the more we repeat negative thoughts in our minds, the more our minds are prone to negativity. So the more negative we are, the more we are training our brain and rewiring it to low self-esteem. And the bottom line is that our current thoughts shape our future thoughts. So how we talk about ourselves now will determine how we will talk about ourselves in the future. And if you want to make a change, the change has to start right now. And you can start by using self-affirmations. So go to the mirror each day and speak to yourself the things that you actually want to hear about yourself. Things like, I'm capable, I'm strong, I'm confident, I'm getting better every day. Honestly, it might feel cringe and weird at first, but it's uncomfortable because you're just not used to seeing yourself that way. So push through that discomfort and start getting your brain used to positive thoughts about yourself. And another thing that really helped me is something called cognitive framing. Basically, anytime you think I'm not good enough, replace it with I'm improving and growing. Or when we are tempted to think, oh, my boss is criticizing me, replace the thought with my boss is trying to help me develop my skills. So these activities are great starts to training your mind to think differently about yourself. Like when you get used to thinking good thoughts about yourself, you will naturally become more confident, positive, and hopeful for the future, therefore leading to a happier and healthier mind. Saying yes to everything. So do you often say yes to things although you know that it will be at the cost of your mental or physical health? And now I'll tell you why it's time to stop that habit. So according to research, overcommitting can lead to stress and eventually burnout. And just to be clear, the problem is not about saying yes, but it's about the reason why we say yes. If we commit to something because we truly believe it will help us or help others, that's not a problem. The problem is when we say yes because we want to please other people. Oh my gosh, it's a bird! Just really scared me. Okay. Problem is when we say yes to things to please other people. I strongly think that people pleasing is such a disease. It's something that will infect every aspect of your life. And people who are people pleasers have more associations with low self-worth and emotional exhaustion. So to get rid of this, we just need to learn how to communicate well. If someone asks for our help and we know deep down we need a break, you can say something like, I love to help, but I need some time for myself. It's okay to be honest about needing rest and space. And we also have to learn to set clear boundaries. So your reply can look like, I can't make it this time, how about next week? And remember that saying no to others is saying yes to yourself. And it's not to say that we start becoming divas and demand never to be inconvenienced again. It's more about knowing yourself and it's about knowing where your limits are and what to do when you are close to those limits. It's about having a relationship with yourself where you know yourself well enough to make a decision that is better for your well-being. And speaking of knowing yourself, it brings me to the next bad habit, which is not spending time alone with yourself. So this bad habit can look like 2 things. The first is you're never physically alone. So are you someone that cannot stand the idea of being alone? Or going on a solo date? Or just the thought of being alone feels so uncomfortable? Or you're just so uncomfortable with the idea of not having to talk or interact with someone? Being constantly around others can lead to a loss of self-identity. Because sometimes being around others means that we're constantly influenced by them and we start to lose touch with our true opinions and preferences. And being alone provides you the space for you to evaluate situations and make choices without any external influences, which strongly improves your decision-making skills and your self-trust. And also, being alone can help you be more creative and allow you to focus on things that you're currently working on, like your projects or your ideas. And the second aspect of being alone is that you're never truly mentally alone. And in my opinion, this is far more important to address. So do you find yourself always having to put something on in the background? Maybe it's music, a podcast, or even a YouTube video. And it somehow seems so difficult to sit down alone with your own thoughts and emotions. And there could be many reasons for this. Like maybe we are trying to run away from the negative self-talk that we have always been telling ourselves. Or it could be us trying to avoid certain unresolved situations in our lives and we refuse to think about those things because we don't want to feel those emotions. Or we simply cannot function because we need that regular dopamine hit of entertainment through the different outlets and things that we're looking at on our phones. And we all might have different reasons, but it's so important to know why we are acting this way so that we can find a root cause and get rid of it once and for all. Because if you don't break this bad habit, it means that you will never know who you truly are. And you'll never be able to enjoy your own company and be secure in your own mind. And to be honest, that sounds so sad. And one thing that really helped me to break this bad habit is to intentionally set aside quiet time. So it's a time where there are no phones, no music, nothing playing in the background, and I sit down to either read or to take a walk. And in times like this, it really helps for me to practice mindfulness. Basically, it's being super aware of what's going on right now in that moment. It could be how the pages feel when we turn a page in our book, or how the wind is blowing through our hair when we go on that walk. It could even be how our clothes feel and fit us in that very moment. So what we're doing is to simply just start taking notice of the things that we typically would just pass on by. And even though it sounds so simple, it can be more challenging than you think. You might just realize how much you're missing out in this real world and how dependent you are on your phone. Because that certainly happened for me. So make it a discipline to spend time alone both physically and mentally. Get to know yourself, be your own best friend and face the things that you're uncomfortable with. Like in any relationship, put in the effort to solve your internal problems and I promise you, your mind will be stronger for it. Bottling up emotions. So this is a big one, especially for people pleasers like myself. Like let me tell you guys, I was a major people pleaser. Like it was actually crazy. I was so obsessed about not rocking the boat that I would do just about anything to keep the peace, even if it were at the cost of me not standing up for myself. It would happen in group projects in school or even at work, and this would lead me to hold everything that I'm feeling on the inside. I somehow thought that emotions were a bad thing, and I just didn't want to show anyone that I was sad or going through a hard time. I would hold all these feelings inside me until something bigger happened in life that distracted me from what I was feeling. And eventually, I had years and years of unresolved emotions that I had to comb through, I had to unravel. And trust me guys, you do not want to do that. So learn from my mistake and stop bottling up your emotions. And it doesn't mean that we let go of self-control and react in any way that we want. It's about learning how to release our emotions in a healthy way. Maybe it's talking to a loved one or even journaling, and you guys know that I'm big on journaling. Or in times where I'm lazy to write, I will just begin a voice memo and start verbalizing everything that I'm feeling. And guys, let me tell you, it's truly liberating. And if you want to take a step further, you can listen to that voice memo, and most of the time you will get a clearer idea of how you're actually feeling, and you'll be able to organize your thoughts so much better, which really helps in trying to solve the problem. So truly, learning how to release your emotions in a healthy way is one of the best things that you can do for your mind. Like feelings are not wrong, we all have feelings. But the difference between someone who is mentally strong and someone is not is their ability to be able to release their emotions in a healthy way. So find healthy ways to release your emotions and your mind will truly thank you for it. The lack of sleep. So maybe you're already doing all the 4 things that we covered previously, then the problem might be a lack of sleep. Like I know it's so hard to hear this, but it's true. I talked about the impact of sleep in my glow up video previously. Let's recap on the mental benefits of sleep. So first, sleep impacts your mood. So sleep deprivation can cause negative moods like anger, irritability, and sadness. So the lack of sleep can also affect your brain activity, making it harder to solve problems, make decisions, and control your emotions. And if you struggle to focus on tasks, a lack of sleep might also play a part in that. And when you don't get enough sleep, your social interactions might also be affected. So a lack of sleep can cause more frustration, irritability, and worry in social situations. So basically, if you don't sleep enough, your relationships have a higher chance of being affected, and that would definitely not be good for your mental health. So prioritize your sleep, and what really helped me is to focus on the time that I get to bed instead of the time that I'm supposed to wake up. Take your time to wind down for the night and make your night routines a non-negotiable. If we can be people who have morning routines, then why not create a night routine? And I strongly encourage you to read up on the science of improving your sleep, like the temperature or the lighting of the room, and even your nutrition can play a part. So understanding the power and importance of sleep will bring you a long way in your mental health journey. Give your brain and body enough rest and you will see major improvements in your mental state of health. And the mind is so powerful, guys, it literally makes or breaks a person. And it's not even your physical bodies that stop you from doing what you want to do, but it's the mindsets that you have that determine how far you eventually go. And overcoming your mind is a whole journey on its own. So be patient and be kind to yourself. Be mentally prepared that the progress that you make might not be linear and some days will be better than others. But I want to encourage you to not give up. Keep going. And when you put in the work, you will realize that it's actually all worth it. And if you're still watching to this point of the video, thank you so much. You guys, you're the real one. And wherever you're at on your journey, know that you can do it and you can make progress. I believe in you. So that's all for this week's video and I'll see you guys in the next one.